For teenagers and for adults, our teen years fly by fairly fast. Before we know it, we're at the point of choosing what college we want to go to or even just what plans we have after high school. Having a job can allow us to have more experience because we go through the application and interview process, and it will be easier to find a future full-time job. Some might say that having a job is probably a bad idea because kids should focus on school and just enjoy a stress-free life with little to worry about. But having a job and just working a couple hours a week can actually benefit our lives in the short and long run. Now for today's speech, we have three tasks to complete. We will talk about how having a job can impact our character development, how it can impact our mental and emotional health, and compare it to other countries. Now let's begin our first task. According to a website called Family Resource, having a job can provide many different perspectives and different learning opportunities. Having a job teaches us what it actually takes to make money and the value of a dollar. Many kids get handed things to them very easily with no effort or work required, but having a job will teach them what it's like and that they will not always get handed things that easily to them. Having a job teaches a kid how to manage their money. They will be the ones deciding where that money goes and where to spend it. This will help us become better decision makers, and it's also very rewarding to buy something with money that you worked yourself to earn. Having a job also teaches us what priorities we have to spend on first before anything else, like for bills or gas, and this will give us a little taste of what it will be like later in life when we have to pay multiple things like rent, bills, gas, groceries, etc. This will also help us understand and see the perspective of our parents. And in my experience, it helps you appreciate more what your parents have done and continue to do for you. Having a job also affects our character development because we have to learn to work with others and take orders from a manager. We will not always like who we work with, but we have to learn to manage our emotions and the way we treat others. Having a job helps us problem solve and overall become less dependent on our parents. Now let's move on to our second task. I'm sure everyone likes to be seen as tough mentally and physically, even if it may not be true. But having a job can actually help us so that we don't have to fake it as much. An article called "The Power of a Job on a Teen" told us that with COVID-19, the number of health emergencies actually went up 31% nationwide. But those who have a job are able to get out of the house and focus on other things so that they can help stabilize their mental health. The article also stated that having a job that requires physical labor helps a child who is struggling with anxiety and depression. Another article called "Health Benefit Work Brings to the Job" talked about the social aspect. Having social interactions helps our emotional health because as humans, we like human connection, and having a job where we regularly talk to other people can contribute to that. Having a job also helps our self-esteem because a job can reveal unique and valuable talents or skills that we may have, and this helps us feel good about ourselves and like we are capable of being useful. For our final task, let's take this topic outside of the States. Most of us get to choose whether or not we have a job as a teen, but some children don't necessarily get to choose. There are countries less fortunate than we are here in the United States, and it's harder for them to make a living no matter how hard they try. Therefore, it requires children to start working at a younger age. And a website called Angelo Info told us about the requirements that a job should have when hiring younger people, but these requirements are not always followed. In Mexico, the legal age a child can work is 14, but most of the time, these children in poorer places of Mexico are not working with companies or even people that look into these requirements. They could be out on the streets selling food or even just helping out their parents at their jobs. This may seem sad, and even though, yes, it is, it lets a child know what they can and can't afford at a young age. A child should not have to worry about whether or not they will have money for their next meal, but unfortunately this does happen. This comparison allows us to see the difference of how we usually get to choose whether or not we have a job and how others have to do it for survival. We have now completed our 3 tasks and talked about the character development a job can have on us, the mental impacts it has, and the comparison to other countries. Having a job does not mean it has to take over your life. You do not have to work 5 to 7 days a week. You can work 3, 4, or even just on the weekends. Having a job provides many benefits, like the way we view money and the way we manage our money. These are all skills we will need later in life, and this is why I believe it's important for every teen to experience what it's like to have a part-time job. Thank you.